Hello, friends. Today I'm going to take up reading in the IELTS test. And generally, reading is considered to be a difficult task because many students complain that reading में score पूरा अच्छा नहीं आता. So I am a senior trainer at Edufly Visas in Kurukshetra, and I assure you I'll make reading so simple for you that you will understand all the different types of tasks which are there in reading. And today we are going to start with true, false, not given. This is the on the screen. You'll be having this. Mm, uh, Urban farming can take place above or below ground. So before I start with this true false reading, I want to know that the first thing important in reading for any task is marking of the keywords. So what does this ask you? Urban farming. So urban farming can take place, okay, above or below ground. So now above and below, they are adverbs. Above and below, these are adverbs. So normally you will find that adverbs play a very important role in answering your true false questions because they hold the meaning in the question. So the important thing is that you should understand the question before you go to the passage. So this says urban farming can take place, हो सकती है, above or below ground. So now let us move to the passage, and here we have. Uh, okay, urban farming is not, of course, a new phenomena. Inner city agriculture. So we have inner city agriculture is booming from Shanghai to Detroit and Tokyo to Bangkok. Strawberries are being grown being grown in disused shipping containers. So what does this mean? They are being grown in containers which are above the ground. Containers would not be below the ground, so above. And mushrooms are growing in underground car parks. So we have that urban farming is taking place both above and below the ground. So now we can go back to our uh, question, which says urban farming can take place above or below ground. So the answer to this would be certainly be true. So the answer is true. Now let's go to the second question. Some of the equipment used in aero farming can be made by hand. So what important is equipment and aero farming, and it can be made by hand. So these are three important things which we have to consider. And we have understood कि some थोड़ा equipment जो aeroponic farming से जुड़ा हुआ है, it can be made by hand. So if you have understood, then we can go back to our. Okay, now here we have the equipment. So this is the equipment. So we have got the area equipment. Weighs little, can be installed on almost any flat surface, and is cheap to buy. So they are saying almost any flat surface it can be installed, and it is cheap to buy. So roughly this much. It is cheap to run also. To consuming a tiny. So now nowhere have they mentioned hand. Nowhere have they mentioned a hand word. So now let's go back to the question. And the question says can be made by hand. So the answer to this would certainly be not given because this is not given. Okay, another thing students I wish to tell you is that in true false जो क्वेश्चंस हैं वो एक दूसरे के साथ लगभग नजदीक होते हैं. Unlike other questions where you have to search for them. at different places. So ये एक बहुत बड़ा फायदा है, इसलिए ट्रू फॉल्स जो स्टूडेंट समझ आता है वो बहुत कम टाइम में कर लेता है. So let's go to the next one. So next one says urban farming relies means वो निर्भर करती है more. So more is again an adverb, more on electricity than some other types of farming, some other types of farming. So this urban farming uses more electricity than compared to other types of farming. So when you have understood this, we can easily again go back to our question here. Now, in this only they say because we have electricity, and what do we have here? We have electricity. So the keyword is given here in this paragraph in the last sentence. So we have it is cheaper to run to consuming a tiny fraction of the electricity used by some other techniques. So urban farming uses a very small, tiny is a very small fraction is percentage of the electricity used by some techniques. So it uses less. So it uses less. Now this is important for us. It uses less. So they are saying it relies more, and there it is less. So there is a contradiction. And whenever there is a contradiction, the answer is false. Now we can move on to the next one. Fruits and vegetables grown on an aerobic urban farm. So grown are cheaper. So now cheaper is again an adverb. So we have fruits and vegetables जो एरोबोनिक अर्बन फार्म में ग्रो किए जाते हैं, they are cheaper than organic produce. This is important, organic produce. So let's go back to the passage. Now we have produced sales at prices were generally higher than those of this. Okay, they are higher. They are saying higher, but higher than those of classic intensive agriculture. So higher here is higher, but than those of classic intensive agriculture. But we had something else, I think organic. So here they are saying are lower than soil-based organic growers. So lower than soil-based organic. So lower. And there, this is lower is prices. So if they're talking of prices here, so we know it's prices. So there they are saying are cheaper. So I think this means both of have the same meaning, cheaper or lower. So the answer is going to be true. Answer is going to be true. So next is most produce can be grown on an arm at any time of the year. So now most is again an adverb, and any time is also an adverb. So you see, adverb plays a very big role in your thing. We should understand what the question is basically asking you. It's asking that ज्यादा जो produce है, जो grow करती है farm पे, वो कभी भी हम उगा सकते हैं at any time of the year. Now let's see whether we can grow. There now this says there are limits. There are limits to what farmers can grow this way, of course, and much of the produce is suited to the summer months. So much, this more, and summer months. And there we had, I think, just the opposite. We had most produce, much, okay, much can be grown at any time. And they are saying summer months. So there is a dichotomy, there is a in Hindi में से विरोध हो गया है. So this means a contradiction. So this is false. Now let's go to the last one. Last one is beans take longer to grow on an urban farm than other vegetables. So beans take longer. Longer is again an adverb. So it takes more time to grow on an urban farm than other vegetables. So we have beans is very important, and then urban farm is that's a topic, and other vegetables. So let's again go back to our yes, here. Now here we have beans. So we'll read from here. Beans tend to take up a lot of space. So here they're talking of space. And there it was, they take longer time to grow. So this is not the same. Uh, for not much return, nevertheless, urban farming of the kind being practiced in Paris is one part of. So now nothing about beans. So beans, we had only this information in the passage. Beans tend to take up a lot of space for not much return. So nothing about the question longer to grow. So this again has to be not given, because not given, again, let me explain. Sometimes initially students uh, have this doubt about false and not given. So true, we know that what is given in the question has been explained in the same manner in the passage. And basically, I try to see whether it's positive in the question, and if it's positive in the passage, then this means it's true. And false is what is given in the question has been contradicted. उससे विपरीत बोला गया है in the passage. Then it's false. But not given is when something in the question has not been addressed इन द पैसेज, उसके बारे में बात ही नहीं की है. अब यहाँ पे लॉन्गर टू ग्रो स्पेस की तो बात की है, लेकिन लॉन्गर टू ग्रो की बात की नहीं की है. सो दिस मीन्स इट हैज टू बी नॉट गिवन. सो लेट मी टेक अप वन मोर, एंड this is during the third phase of construction. Okay, so sandstone slabs were placed on both. So now we have to again, we have to third phase of construction. Slabs were placed in both the outer areas. Both can be an adverb also. So वो दोनों जगह पे था, in both. कहाँ कहाँ था? Outer areas and also the middle. So we have to see of this side. So we have to see first, we have to identify where third phase of construction is, then we can see. Okay. So yes. So here we have the third phase of construction. So this is important to us, third phase of construction. And what else do we have? We have third phase of construction took place around this. At this point, we had sandstone slabs, they had written in the question, were arranged in an outer. So outer means outer ring, and some were assembled into a three-phase structure called trithelons that stand in the center. So we have outer and center of Stonehenge. So what did the question say? The question said were placed in both the outer and the middle. So we have exactly the same. We have outer and the center. Center is the middle. So the answer has to be certainly true, because it's meaning the same. So we have true for this. Then the next one, we have there is scientific proof. So there is scientific proof that the bluestone stood in the same spot. Same is again an echo. वो उसी जगह पे स्थित था, stood, stand करता था in the same spot until approximately 16. Dates are very important. When you have a date, location becomes very easy. So let's go to 1600 BC and let's understand कि कुछ scientific proof है कि जो blue stones हैं वो stand करते थे same spot पे until approximately 1600 BC. So let's go to the location, and here we have 1600 BC. Okay, so we have this visible and contained. Dating has revealed. So dating is something to do with scientific work. So that thing comes, scientists come. Okay, so dating means that something has been scientifically, dating has revealed. Revealed means it has proved that Work continued at until roughly 1600 BC. वहां तक चला. With the bluestones in particular being repositioned multiple times. What does reposition means? Position बदलना. Position को बदलना आएगा reposition. So reposition multiple times. But the question says that they stood at the same spot. So of course there is a contradiction. And whenever there is a contradiction, we have to have false. Now let's go to the next one. John Aubrey's claim. So John Aubrey's claim about Stonehenge was supported. Now this is important. Was supported by 20th century findings. Whatever John Aubrey said, it was supported by 20th century findings. So we have keyword John Aubrey and we have 20th century findings. So let's go to passage, and here we have John Aubrey. So let's see where this is. John Aubrey made the claim that Stonehenge was the work of Druids who had important religious, judicial, and political roles in the Celtic society. So this is what John Aubrey said. The Celtic society में it was who had important religious. This story was widely popularized by who had unearthed primitive. Even today, people who identify as modern Druids continue to gather Stonehenge for the summer solstice. Okay. However, now this is very important. This is a contradiction word. However, means parantu. In the mid 20th century, so we come to the main question, 20th century. Radiocarbon dating demonstrated that Stonehenge stood more than 1000 years before. So 20th century में हमें ये पता लगा कि जो Stonehenge था वो 1000 years before the cells inhabited the region, before these cells. And here it is that was work of Druids. Now let's see what a question is demanding from us. The question is saying claim about was supported. So it is not supported because we have, first of all, however, this means it is going against. So 20th century findings are saying 1000 years before the Celtics. So this means inhabited the region. So this means there's a contradiction between what John Aubrey uh, viewed, John Aubrey thought, and what mid 20th century we came to know about. So this has to be false then. So we have here false. Now, 12th, objects discovered at Stonehenge uh, seem to indicate जो वहां डिस्कवर हुए हैं that it was constructed by a number of different groups. जो वहां पे ऑब्जेक्ट्स डिस्कवर हुए हैं उनसे हमें ये अंदाजा लगता है कि वो जो बनाए गए हैं कई डिफरेंट ग्रुप्स के द्वारा ऑफ पीपल. So we have understood the question, which is the most important first of all. Now let's go to the passage. So should be here now. Many modern historians now agree that several distinct tribes. Now this is important because we had many groups. So we have several distinct tribes of people. ये आ गया वहां people था contributed to Stonehenge, each undertaking a different phase of its construction. So I think the answer is here correct because they are saying several distinct tribes have contributed to its construction. So let's see again. We can read the question. The question says, "Seem to it was constructed by number." So of course, number means several different. So this is true again. Now the last one is criticism of Gerald Hawkins' theory. So one word is criticism, and his theory about what Stonehenge has come mainly from. It has कहाँ से आई है? Other astronomers. So astronomers is a very key word. So it has come from other astronomers. So let us go back to the passage, and we were here. So let's see where astronomers is first of all, because this cannot be rephrased. So we should have something about astronomy. We have immigrants, we have European continent, we have this. We don't have astronomers anywhere. But let us see again where it could be. Theory has come. So criticism. Let's see where they have said criticism. The first stage was achieved by this. Some believe that they were immigrants, flat surroundings, sorry. While there's consensus among this, they are yet to determine what the purpose it had. A cluster of uh, ast- astronomers. This is astrological, not astronomers, but this is astrological. So we don't have any word astronomers. So for that, we very well know that if anything in the question is not given in the passage, the answer has to be not given. So, students, today I hope I have been able to make true false not given somewhat easy for you. The most important thing is that you should go by the keywords. Keywords are very important and understand the question before going to the passage. I have seen many of my students, they just read the question and straight away plunge into the passage. No. First understand whether it's positive, whether it's negative, and then are likely to get your answer correct. So thank you very much for today. And in future videos, I'll be taking up different tasks of reading so that they become easy for you to understand. Thank you.